Hello, it is indeed Johnny. How are you doing today? I hope you had a wonderful day or night, or just depends on what time zone you're in. We are going to be building the Black Lion tonight. This is going to be a little bit of a bigger build than the two that I've already done. And you might notice that we are on the second or the third lion, which is the black one. But you guys didn't see a blue one. Well, I did a video of that one. And that one was just recorded and I was going to upload it, and then I realized that it's been a while since I've done video editing, and so I still have some work to do on it. So at some point this week it'll be uploaded. So it's kind of out of order because this is number 3. This is part 3. The yellow line was first, then the blue, and then now the black. But unfortunately, like I said, just have to work on my editing skills a little bit because it's been a while. So without further ado, I do want to pop this up here because this is kind of a fun little thing that I'll be popping in here. There we go. So that's what we're doing next. We are doing the Black Lion. As you can see him rotating around there. So got to get my stopwatch up on my phone. And we'll get it started just like we've done all the other ones. We'll get it started in 3, 2, 1, go. Now, the Black Lion is a good bit bigger than the other ones. And so I'm assuming this is going to take a little bit longer than an hour, but we'll see how good I am. Alright, so as we're doing this, as you can see, there is that little rotating line that is up there in the corner. Some things that I was playing around with the software that I use in order to stream. And there were some interesting things online that I learned about how it all works and the types of things you can do. And so I looked around online for some stuff, and lo and behold, it was like, oh, hey, you can do this. So that's what I did. So played around with that, and there we go. So I will be showing some other things on there a little bit later on. But this is an interesting booklet. I don't want to fold it, but I kind of have to, otherwise it's not going to stay open, unfortunately. And I don't like to bend Lego instructions or anything like that, simply because, I kind of like to keep them pristine. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is, because it's a little bit thicker of a book than the other ones are. So makes it not quite as easy to keep open like these ones that are stapled but are thinner. So alright, so we started on the Black Line. And it's kind of interesting. Well, they've all been interesting, of course, and I say that about all of them. But it is kind of interesting that this is the biggest one, and it is also the one that is in the middle. I would think that they would save the biggest or best for last, but they put it here in the middle. So be it. Now this one is one that, as you can see, already has like blue pieces in it and gray pieces, yet it is the Black Lion. And it'll be interesting to see how much they get covered up, because if you look at Voltron himself, he's got little white parts and stuff like that whenever he's turned into Voltron. So it'll be interesting to see how those parts all come to be. Alright. I've adjusted the zoom a little bit for this, and the angle, if you can't tell from my previous streams, or stream I guess you could say, since no one got to see the other thing that I did yet, but hopefully soon. Anyway, I adjusted the angle for that so that it's a little bit more overhead and you can kind of have a better view of everything. I tend to hold things back like this, unfortunately, and that's just natural because that's the way I build things. So this is kind of a new thing, having it out here for people to see, and so that was the interesting part, is making it so that people can see things. Alright, here's pink pieces. This is I don't like pink, but that is kind of an odd thing to see in a Lego build, is having pink pieces. So, but again, those are things that'll probably being the operative word, probably be taken care of one way or another, and you won't see it, or it'll be incorporated in such a way that it won't make much of a difference at all whenever you see the final thing done. Alright, looks like we've done that. We're on moving right along. So something else interesting that I found, oops, looks like we reversed things. We're over here now. One of the interesting things that I found is that this particular version of Voltron is the original versus being the one that is the current one, which is, I misspoke whenever I did my first stream. I called it Defender of the Universe, and that's not the name of it. It's Voltron Legendary Defender. Not much of a difference, I realize, but that's how it officially is. And this version, though, of Voltron is actually original. And you'll see some differences, especially whenever I pop up some of the YouTube video things. You'll see the difference in the cartoon, how it looks, and how all the lions look, how all the pilots look, and everything like that. But definitely in how they look themselves as far as the models go. It would be interesting to see what they would do if they did, you know, the current version of Voltron. Simply because it is quite a bit updated from this version. And it looks like little tiny pieces that I have to put there on the side. Keeping with the color scheme. It's one thing I've noticed about building Legos with, well, building with Legos, sorry, I misspoke, is the fact that everything that they do is purposeful, very purposeful, and it's just pretty neat. Hello there, viewer in the chat. Hope you're having a great day or evening, whatever it is for you. Alright, we got some interesting little pieces that are little flat, thin slants. I really like how they have done custom pieces for specific things. Not a lot, but they do it whenever it is kind of necessary. And sometimes it is. This one's going to be interesting. Alright, there we go. Like I said in one of the other streams, I like to make it so that whenever it's little 1x1 pieces, they are lined up correctly, simply because I'm a stickler for that. And I like those details, and I like to make sure my model is as accurate and concise, I guess you could say, as it can be. Alright, got some smooth pieces here, so we are starting to smooth the model out. Alright, and this particular section is moving right along, and I see that we're starting to make it. It looks like this little section here. It's kind of the lower torso portion. So that's cool. I like seeing as it develops what it is that we're getting to. Now, I did look a little bit ahead, which I probably, probably cheating a little bit, but I looked a little bit ahead as far as this bigger instruction book, because this is what has the actual building of Voltron himself, transforming the lions and turning him into the giant robot we know and love. And it's interesting because in order to, as they, as I mentioned one of the other streams, and as they talk about in the book, the Legos, how do I put it? Joints of Legos have not always been the firmest, I guess you could say. They're pretty loose. Weight matters a lot. Here, I'll give you a demonstration like I did on the other video that you guys didn't see yet. So like these are the joints that like most people use for things, and that's the weight. So something that's even a model of that size, that's not quite that big, but you need joints that are going to be able to handle the weight. And so because of that, as you can see, these parts here are little sections that you can push things onto. In order to do this properly, they did that with Voltron in the sense that they made it so that his legs, in order to transform into the robot, actually come off, and you rotate them so that they do it the right way. So, not a full 100% transformer, or whatever you want to call it. It's not 100% going to be exact like how the show is or whatever, but you know, so be it. I'm okay with that. Alright, we got something little interesting here. Not sure what this is because it's just a little floopy piece here. Not sure why that's there, but oh well. I guess that's one of the things we'll find out. So the other thing too is, of course, once you get all the lines together and done, and you go to transform Voltron into, or combine Voltron, I guess you could say, it's both. It's a transformation. The lines kind of adjust to how they look. Excuse me. And they also combine in order to form the big robot. But of course, when you see it on the TV, it takes, a few seconds. I think the way anime likes to do is they like to focus on each individual piece as it goes in sometimes. Sometimes they do it a lot quicker. It just depends on what they're doing, or where in the series, show, or whatever that it is. But what they'll do a lot of times is they'll focus on, say, in this case, a leg going inside or joining up with another part, or the arm, how it goes in together and stuff. And because I've seen the new one, that's what they do sometimes. And then sometimes they just kind of put them together really quick, and it takes a couple seconds. So obviously whenever I do it, it's going to be a whole lot different because, well, I'm not that fast. So what I may do out of the fun of it, I'm just thinking about this before I started streaming, is that I might do a 5-person thing where I have 5 people help me out. Well, that looks really cool. I have 5 people help me out, and we combine and form Voltron. So at the same time, everyone will grab a line as it is like this and turn it into its robot version, and then we'll put them together, and lo and behold, we'll have Voltron. So it might be interesting to see how long that sort of thing takes. But I have to find 4 volunteers to help me out, so we'll just have to see. Alright, so yellow. Alright, so it looks like we are done with this portion of the black line. It's 11 minutes 53 seconds it has right there. So alright, a couple extra pieces, that's nice. Moving on, and there's no extras in here. Sorry, putting that in the box. And now on to 8. Surprisingly, this is going a good bit quicker, though I have a feeling that the third part will go slower, simply because there's going to be more detail, I'm assuming, for it with the head and everything else. And there's a lot of little pieces in this part, so don't want to open it too hard. There we go. When I do bags and I'm opening, those are interesting. I'll show them to you. Like brass pieces. I'm not sure what those are for. Guess we'll find out. When I do bags, I try to, a lot of times, keep them separated. Gotta keep them separated. So I'll, undo all the bags and have a big pile of stuff, but I try to keep the bag separated so that I know what was where. So, alright, so starting with this bag, we actually are working on this part of the model, it looks like. That's pretty cool how everything gets kind of covered up. Alright, so just looking there. And we've got these 2 pieces. Oh, we got a second person in. Hello, whoever that is. Hope you're having a great day. If not, hopefully it gets better, and hopefully this brings you some enjoyment as it brings me. Alright. Let's see. I don't think we have any birthdays today. Last time I did a stream, we had a birthday that we gave a shout out to, but I don't think I know of any today. So unfortunately, I can't say happy birthday to anyone. I don't know. I wonder whose birthday it is. Who famous is having their birthday today or had their birthday today? Be interesting. A lot of that stuff we kind of don't find out about right now, simply because of the things that are going on in the world, and everyone knows what that is. It's one of those things that for some reason YouTube doesn't like people talking about. I don't know why, but they just don't. So I'm not going to mention it by name, but everyone knows what I'm talking about. And I hope everyone is safe and doing well, despite the circumstances we all find ourselves in. Because I know it is not the easiest time right now for a lot of people. People have not, people aren't used to staying in. Oh, go John, go. That would be my friend Dan from my guild that I'm in. Hi Dan. Hello Oliver. Oliver is his boy. Nice to see you guys. Hope you're having a good day. Hope things are going well up in Canada. Dan is my favorite Canadian of all time. Unless I meet somebody else that's Canadian, that's awesome. So, but just letting you know, keep it up. All right. Alrighty. So this particular piece is full of colors, and I still just find it amusing how those things go. All right. And we got 4 headlight things. Incidentally, everybody. Oh, hello you are. There's our birthday girl from the other week. Incidentally, speaking of headlights, make sure that you check your headlight fluid regularly. It needs filled up every now and then. If you believe that, I have some things I'd like to sell you for $1 million so that I can make lots of money. And not paying attention, and I forgot 2 pieces again. Silly me. Okay. There we go. That looks better. Alrighty. And no, headlight fluid is not a real thing. I will just put that out there now. That way I don't get in trouble for anything in the future. It wouldn't surprise me that people would think that there is headlight fluid, because not everybody knows things about cars, even little things. And that's one of the few things that I've not liked about how technology has increased, is because everything is so technological. It's a weird thing to say, but cars especially. I mean, I've been working on cars ever since I was little, and nowadays, like if you get a new car, you really can't. They've made it, I know they did that with tractors, and the farmers got really upset over the last year or so, but they've really made it so it's difficult to work on cars anymore. Everything is so specialized, and you almost have to have a degree in order to know what to do with them. So yeah, it's disappointing, but what are you going to do? Technology moves on, I guess. Pretty soon everybody's going to be in an electric car, right? Right. Alright, we are putting some weird things on right now. We got some little grabby pieces that are right here, little armatures that are there, and now we're putting in some weird pieces. Kind of odd. And those go on top of the grabby pieces. I'm not sure what those are going to be for. Obviously they have a purpose, but you know, what are you going to do? Alright. Again, it's all part of the game plan. Oh, more headlights. More headlights go on. We got some taller black pieces here on the side. Instead of being just two 2x1s, as they were called. If Rocco ever watches, he would be proud that I'm saying what they are. When I was younger, and my brothers and I were all building Legos together, we would help each other with our sets, especially if somebody got a new set. What they would do is we had our own designation for how pieces go together, or how you find pieces, because you know, you'll be doing sets that are pretty big. And again, back in the day, Lego was not as easy. I wouldn't say easy. It wasn't as modular as it is right now. Nowadays, again, it's kind of like you build parts. For instance, you know, we got this part, and this part is going to go together to it, and then there's going to be the third part that goes with that, and then they're going to form, you know, the full thing there. And the bags are separated in that sort of way too, that you do different sections at a time and you put it together like a model. So you build the model pieces and put it together. But back whenever we were building Legos, we did not have that luxury. We had just a bag, or a couple bags, and that was it. There was no numbers, no nothing. And so whenever you had the pieces, they're just all out. Sometimes in the box, sometimes you had it on the floor. Just depends on where we were building at the time. I don't think we ever used a table, which is an odd thing to think about now. But back then, it just never crossed my mind to, hey, let's put these on a table so that they're easier to find. But no, we always just did it in our room, and you know, so we had to come up with our own way, our own method of being able to find pieces quickly, because obviously we wanted to play with what we bought, so we did it, you know, in such a way that it was as fast as possible. So what we would do is we would come up with something like this. So this piece here, this is a 2x3 red. Okay, it's a standard Lego brick piece. Okay, whereas you have something like this. This is a tiny one. That's a flat. That's a 1x1 flat. Okay, because 3 of these would make a standard size brick. And then something like this, where I say it's a headlight, well, it's got the little thing on the side so that you can put something on it, like a headlight. So things like that. And then specialized pieces, we just would have to come up with our own little, you know, nomenclature and just, you know, figure it out. Like this, I don't even know what we would call that. I guess it would be a 2x1 gray hinge, I guess would be what we could potentially call that. But I don't know, we never had something like that. At least not whenever we were all building together. So, but yeah, that's kind of what you had to come up with. Or something like this, like I'm putting on now. This is a flat. It's a 1x3, but it's a corner piece. You see, it's not a straight piece. So yeah, that's kind of how we did things. So, excuse me. Moving right along. Looks like we got most of it together. Odd little circle piece that goes right there. Now some more flat pieces that are going on top. So I'm not sure where on Voltron himself, or the black line, I guess I should say, this part goes. I'm guessing this is up here somewhere. It looks like that's how it goes together. So not sure though. Kind of interesting. Alright. This one's moving right along. A big giant piece goes here, covering over all of that color. So there's our coverage of the colors that were done there. And yes, now we're putting this on top. So I'm guessing that these need to go together in such a way. Nope, that's offset. Yep. It is amazing how Lego goes together. And it's just, you put a couple pieces on and it'll join together completely. That's just neat. Alright, so back to the other side, because it looks like we're going to start putting this so it doesn't move. And a couple other pieces there, just to keep it all together. And voila, now it's one piece, even though we didn't put it together that way. Alright, so back over, nope, still underneath, yep, looks like it's still underneath, alright. So, complicated. So we've got this weird piece here. That goes there. We've got some interesting, making sure I did that right. Yep, looks like it. Sometimes the way the instructions are done, they look a little bit funny when you put them on, or when you're trying to view them, and just got to double check and make sure. Alright, flip it over, and now we're on to this side, making sure it stays together. There we go, snapped in. It is solid now. Not going to drop it to test that, but it is pretty solid. Well, speaking of drop test, actually, it looks like this is going to be something like the upper, that goes there, so yeah, that's going to be the upper chest piece. Speaking of drop tests, back whenever I was, again, building Legos with my brothers and stuff, we would, of course, not always keep our sets together. Certain sets we would, but other sets we would rip apart and build again, or we would build into our own separate creations, as I'm sure a lot of you have done in the past. And it was fun doing that, and we always made it in such a way that, like, we tried to make our creations really strong, but we would do, or I should say my older brother said that in order to make sure that it was indeed strong enough, we needed to do the drop test. And the drop test was simply what it sounds like. It was, you lift your model off the ground, about table height, so about 3.5, 4 feet high, and drop it on the ground and see how well it withstands things. Now, my older brother, being who he was, would like to glue his model together, a specific one in fact called Skywise. It was a big robot that he made, but with, unbeknownst to myself and my younger brother, he glued the pieces together, and we did not know this. And so whenever he did the drop test, of course, I mean, it was articulate, so it fell when those articulate pieces fell off, but that was it. Everything else stayed together. And of course, we're trying to drop our models. We did the same thing. We kind of copied them and did our own robot type things. And of course, ours would break in various numbers of pieces. And well, we didn't find out until way later. Well, I think this is after he had moved down, actually, where he actually still had the robot built. And then we started trying to take it apart because it was actually part of another older set. And found out that, hey, it was all goopy because it had been glued together. So, let that be a lesson to you, any of you kids watching. There is actually adhesive, and I found this out because I was looking up when Fox was coming out with the Lego Masters series. They talked about, you know, how they do those big giant models. They do lots of CAD drawings, lots of testing, like they did with this one. They did various CAD drawings, they did various build tests to see what would work or what would make sense. And then once they get to that point of actually putting it together, whenever it's one of those big models that they're going to have at, you know, I don't know, Walmart, at the mall, you know, wherever they're going to display them, they glue them. They take it apart, or they take each piece apart that they've been doing, and then they glue it together, which is kind of an interesting idea. But makes sense. I mean, how is she going to keep that together? How do you, you know, in case something awful happens, like someone runs into it or whatever, you know, how would you keep something like that together? I mean, there's really no way, if you think about it. Alright, 2 little tiny black pieces. Where do they go? Right there. Those are the ones I usually miss. It's a little 1x1 that, even though they put up here what pieces you're going to use in a step, sometimes I just breeze over them and I'm not paying attention, and there it goes. Okay, this is something interesting that I've not seen. I've seen the 4x1 headlights and I've seen the 1x1 headlights, but I don't often see 2x1 headlights, and it's kind of different. Alright, so here we go. Moving right along, we are making this whole chest piece area, which looks really cool. And I think now I know what those little brass pieces are for that I got out right at the beginning. It looks like they are going to be like this little emblem symbol that's in the middle, but there's a lot of pieces in there, so I'm wondering if I get to just choose what I want as far as that goes. Kind of interesting. If they have a welding torch, that would be kind of fun. Alright. Really neat how this all turns out. All the smooth pieces coming together and making it look like something really, really neat. Alright, here we go. A couple more little things. It looks like we've got some special silver pieces that are going to be, they're a little shiny, so they're going to be going on here. But you have to have enough smooth pieces so as not to cover it up, or not cover it up, sorry, so as to make it that they can go across. Like you can see the emblem, it kind of goes, you know, at angles, and that's not normal for Lego bricks, so you have to use these smooth pieces so things can go across. There we go. Oh, too far. Alright, there we go. Lots of little pieces in this one. Just gotta watch and make sure we put the right ones where they belong. So blue one, another gray, a white here down in the middle. Is that a gray? Yes, gray piece. Okay, I think I got them all. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so now we get to put this little thing together. Oh, that is shiny. I didn't think it was going to be that shiny of a piece, but it is definitely shiny. Alright, so this connects up there. That's actually kind of cool how it stays there. That looks neat. Alright, and then these pieces go on top. So it does look like, as I put these shiny, oh, those are really shiny. I like that. That's really cool. I am impressed with how they did that. I hope I have extra pieces of shiny. Alright, very shiny, very cool. Now, I get to choose out of this little bag the emblem that's going to go on the front there. And I do have a power drill. I mean, like, I have like a little paint can and a power drill and stuff, but this is the one they use, so that's the one I'm going to put on. I kind of like how that looks the best right there. So that looks cool. Yeah. Alright, so let's move those out of the way. Alright, and we are at, oh, the last little thing. So one more little emblem it looks like, and it's these little star things that are over here. It's kind of interesting. I never noticed that about the original Voltron, that he has a star right there, but apparently he does. So there you go, his star emblem. So there you go. That's piece number 2 done. Alright. It is 34 minutes and 36 seconds. I need a drink. Just root beer, don't worry. That's what happens whenever you stream. If you're streaming right and you're talking a lot. Whew. Alright, so moving the bags out of the way. Getting these pieces out of the way. Now the other, when I started this, what is it? These are instructions set. That was bag 8. When I started bag 8, I actually took some pieces from 7. So I have this little piece here that I have not used yet. So not sure if it will be used, but it's going to stay out there. Nothing left in the bag. Oh, you know what? I was thinking there was only going to be 3 bags for this guy. I'm betting there's going to be more. I am betting there will be more because I don't, in these bags that I just opened up, I do not see any way I would do 4 legs here. So, oh, and there it is, because that's doing 1 whole leg on one side. So we're doing both. But this is the one of the sides, not sure which. So we'll find out. I thought I was doing really well, and I was like, there's no way that this is going to take, you know, an hour. But it's definitely going to take longer. So, Joy, you get to listen to me for longer. What I mentioned in one of the other streams, I can't remember which. Whoops, that's the wrong piece. One of the other streams is that in order to make this work, in order for, again, like I displayed kind of at the beginning of the stream, that the hinges are important and don't hold a lot of weight, at least the typical hinges that Lego has had in the past. In order to do this correctly and make it so that it held that weight, they had to adjust things and make kind of custom gears and ways to hold up that weight. And we'll see that as we're doing the legs here. In fact, I can see it because I read about it, that they have a series of gears, as you can see. A little tiny gear right there, but bigger gear here, that somehow they're going to fit together and work together in order to both allow movement but restrict it at the same time. That's a really odd thing to have to do. Alright, so we are putting that on there, and we get a little ball joint here, which we've used on the other lines. There you go. And that's going to go right in here. So that's going to be an articulating joint, and I can already feel that it's nice and stiff, but it's going to need to be more than that. So that's why it moves both ways, and it's got the gear here. So that's kind of cool. Alright, so moving right along. We've got some other pieces that are combining together. We've got this weird piece here, Technic piece. It's going to slip in. There you go. That's not quite fitting. I have it bent a little bit. So we're going to push against that a little bit with another Lego piece. There we go. Now it's in all the way. So it goes on top. Yeah, just reading about how, I mean, this one wasn't a long read. The one for the Millennium Falcon was actually really, really long. It's a couple, I'd say about 4 or 5 pages, and then they translated it into like 4 different languages. So in order to get to the actual build, you have to go past that and actually get started building and putting things together. But it is neat to read about the different things that they choose, or the different ways that they do things. So, all right, this is another opposing piece that has some weird pieces that go to it. These little red, I don't even know what to call these. They're little red, they're not spokes, but they're like drive shaft things. They're only 1 by 2, so they're not the easiest to put in. Okay, and this goes on top here, and that just looks odd. I don't know how that's going to be a leg, but somehow it is. Now I'm noticing these little pieces here, these little armatures, and they've used this through the model, that allow the model to grab onto itself whenever it's doing things like, for instance, they have those armatures in these, so when they form when the head goes up and it forms the leg, they latch on so that it stays solid. So I'm guessing that's going to be the case here, but it is still interesting. Okay, now we're getting to the bigger gear. This is very interesting. So we got this. Now we're putting these in. Hello, Jerry. How are you doing tonight? Hope things are going well. Hope your dinos are surviving and that you're getting everything that you wanted. Yeah, this is really, really cool. Now it's got a gear apparatus that's on it. And somehow these are going to all go together and make it so that either an arm or a leg. Oh, this is weird. I have never seen a piece like this before. Oh, that snapped in there, so that's a little spinny. Alright, now this goes on this part somehow. Upside down. Yep, I have it the wrong way. Go figure. Alright, so the question is, okay. So this slips all this slips all the way on so that we have the gear. It's driving against there. Oh, that's cool. That's neat. Not sure how it's all supposed to together, but we'll figure it out. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad I could get you a Rex egg to hatch. Now level it up so that we can make more. Alright. Again, sometimes these pieces are hard to put in, so push. There we go. Fit it. Alright, so this goes on top there. Alright. So I'm still not sure how this and this interact fully. I guess, I don't know. We'll find out. Somehow they're going to go together, but it's really interesting. Named her Saki. That's awesome. My friend Jerry and I, we play also with Dan and UR that have been in here. We play a game called Ark that's a lot of fun. It's all about dinosaurs and taming them and not dying. It's very difficult in this game. It's a survival game and it's a lot of fun. But you also get to make them and make new ones and have babies and hope for better stats and stuff so that you can advance through the game. It is a lot of fun. Now that's an interesting piece. I've never seen a one like that that's 2x4. That's very interesting. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It can be frustrating at times, especially if you aren't used to how that game plays and you end up dying a lot. Which is everybody's first time experience. Guaranteed. Alright, so we're smoothing out things a little bit. Alright, so let's put that down. Move this gear over here. Start putting some of these little pieces together. Never did find a use for that this little piece there, so poor little piece. I guess it's that's a freebie. Oop, I put that offset by 1. No, I did that right. That was offset by 1. Okay. Alright. Thought I did wrong, but I did not. Silly me. It's always good when that sort of happens. Yeah, Dan was in here. He was actually in here with Oliver. Oliver was saying hi. So I gave him a shout out. Yeah, sometimes, especially at the very beginning of the game, eating is obviously it's an important part of real life, but it's also an important part of this survival game. You have to kind of do a little bit of everything and watch it, and sometimes what ends up happening is you're so busy doing what you're doing, you're not focusing on the fact that you're getting hungry, and then, well, bad things happen. Alright, so I'm looking at this, how everything's coming together here, and I'm betting just by the colors that I'm using and knowing how the Black Lion himself is put together, I'm betting that bag number 12, which is mostly red pieces, which I thought it was going to be for the Red Lion, but it looks like it's going to be the wings for this guy, because he has these big wings that are on his back, and I don't see them anywhere on this yet, so betting that's what's going to happen. So this is going to be a longer than expected build, I bet. But put that on the wrong side. And now I see why it goes on that side. There we go. Alright, so we got this weird piece here, oriented like this, and there we go. Alright, looks pretty good. Yeah, this is the torso, and it's the Black Lion, so it'll be kind of down this way. But this is the leg that's going to go on here somewhere. I'm not sure how it's supposed to go on yet. So I'm building a leg as far as I know. Not sure what else or how else it works. Alright. So we got two little joints here. New sets are nice simply because they fit together so firmly, but they also can be a pain whenever you're trying to put them together quick-like. Looks like we're getting to the done portion of this particular leg. Oh, these are better joint pieces because they kind of have gears within them, like little jagged bits, so that it stays together. Okay, so that goes here. Oh, that's kind of cool. it's kind of a side joint. So it's saying I need to put it up. Up, yep, this is forming that last part of the leg and the foot. Oop, that's the wrong piece. Alright. And we are almost done with this particular leg. Looks like it. This goes on here. There we go. And we take the model itself. Now it looks weird because this is going to be the front of the robot. But all these little grabby things grab a hold of these things on the outside and go right there. There we go. One leg done. It does look funny, but again, I looked ahead a little bit. Oh, that's interesting. So on here they say, you know, there's two pieces that look kind of the same, and they say, you know, use this one, don't use this one because it's a little too small. I guess enough people have gotten that wrong, or at least they figured people would get it wrong. Alright, this should go a little bit quicker because it's exactly the same as the side that I just did, except a different color, and that's kind of interesting. This one was red, this one's blue, as far as the little grabby things go, and maybe that's, well, I know it's on purpose, but I wonder if that has to do with the line colors, as far as what piece is going to go in when it does its form Voltron. Alrighty. Well, this is going along quite well, though. I'm getting a little bit faster with this. It's been a while since I've built Legos, though I did, I guess this is supposed to go up all the way, kind of locking in place, so we'll do that. I didn't see that whenever I did the first one, but it does lock into place, or it says it should, so another little ball joint on there. Fit that in and push it up. So there we go. Which would make sense. They want to have the gear locked in place so that they aren't, so it's not wiggling around or whatever. So, all right. This is just like I said, it's the opposite leg, it looks like, of the line that we just did. So everything's pretty much the same. It's just a little bit opposite. Ooh, no, no, no. It has to go all the way up. I did that wrong. I need to fix something. And that's the problem whenever you go too far ahead. So this, hopefully I don't have to take apart too much. This little piece needs to go up in here. So, gotta take this off. There we go. Alright, so that, let's see how easy this is to do. Well, that's not so bad. Luckily, I can get to the pieces that I need. That has to come off. There we go. I was wondering why that didn't seem to work right. So let's see. Okay, that should be enough. There we go. Ah, see, now that makes more sense. The gear itself is actually now it's actually pushed against it, so now it's a lot harder to move. That makes sense. So it moves, but it's a lot harder too. So that was silly on my part. All right, now let's put these pieces back in. It is kind of funny. Put that went in the wrong spot. It is kind of funny how there's only one way to put this together, really. There we go, that's better. Okay, so now I know that how that gear works, and it is. It's nice and stiff the way it should be. Alright. Glad I figured that out finally. Alright, so now let's put this back on. I think it goes... Now I don't remember. I think it's this one. There we go. If it's not, well, I'll find out. Alright. Back to this piece that I'm working on. After I got sidetracked, but at least I figured that out now as opposed to later. That would have been bad. Been like, oh, why is this not working right? Why does the arm just sit there and go flop, flop, flop? And yeah, so. All right. Another little bit here. With one of these reds and grays and these weird little pieces. So one of the things that I wanted to do also, as you can see, the little lion that you have up in the top is flipping around. There's another little thing that I have done that I think is even cooler. I didn't do it. The software that I use in order to do this, the streaming did it. But they made it so that you can stream in other things, other videos and stuff. So I am actually going to do that now, just for the fun of it. Whoops, I almost lost that piece. So I'm going to switch that out real quick and make it so you can see this. It's supposed to... There we go. Alright, so now what you'll see is some clips. These are from DreamWorks. You'll see some clips of the original Voltron. That's what you're going to see. And just kind of how things went together and how he did things and the animation and stuff like that. So this is, again, and you can see how it looks similar, like the emblem and everything like that, how it looks similar to him, and the lions will look similar as well, because this is the version that I was talking about that has been done for this. Animation is so 80s, so 80s, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing, but it is funny whenever, there you go, there he is, and he looks, it's funny that when they do Transformers or Voltron, or it doesn't matter what it was back in the 80s, no matter which one they were doing, the animation was such that, like, they were trying to get things done as fast as they could, right? Whoops, didn't want that to happen. And because of that, when they made something like the big robot, you know, you would see the lions coming together and you saw the detail of the lions, but then whenever he came together, you didn't quite see that same detail anymore. Simply because, well, it was easier to animate that, like, a lion would instead look like a long stick, or, you know, it's got on his arms there are longer sticks, or, you know, arm pieces, as opposed to, like, the detail of, like, the lion itself, which, again, understandable, but it was a lot easier for them to animate and do things that way, and it just makes it look funny. But as a kid, you didn't notice that sort of thing. Now what I'll do is I'll have that play for a little bit, and then whenever I'm getting closer to being done here with this build. I'm going to switch it and show you some of the clips that they have for the new ones, because they have both. They have DreamWorks Animation Studio, obviously, and they have just clips and stuff, and that's what I'm showing, because obviously it is them that did this. It's not me. I didn't make these at all. Be cool if I did, but I did not. But they have playlists of these clips, and it's kind of neat. So you can get an idea of how, I mean, you don't get a full story or anything like that, but you get an idea of what stories are about or what certain characters are, things like that. So was wondering if I did something right, and I did. I just didn't realize it, so that's a good thing. Yeah, that's classic animation. You know, see how a leg is going in and the head is being formed and everything. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. It's the classic look and everything. But that's something they did in this. I remember very, very vividly that they would have the lions all like roar, like they would go to each one of them and like it would go roar, 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 and yeah, they made it kind of, yeah, it was cheesy, but again, 80s. But like I was saying, whenever they make the robots be a robot after it's combined, or again, Transformers did the same thing. They just didn't look the same. They looked more like there's advertisements, I'm sorry, but nothing I can do about those. But they would make, again, and it was cheaper that way and easier to do, and they would have they would keep it blocky, as you can see here. I mean, it still looks sort of like, you know, the lions, but you don't see the legs at all. You don't see anything detail-wise. So, yeah, so be it. All right, so we're finishing up this part. And this goes on the side here. Putting in these little blue pinch things. And this is blue. And I'm guessing this will be the opposite leg, and it'll be done exactly the same way. Yeah, it's looking like it. There it is. Thought I was missing a piece, but that was the piece I was using to push in. But I have never, ever, ever not had a Lego piece. Always had extras, never, ever. And that's one heck of a track record. I mean, if you think about it. One heck of a track record. So if you're listening at all to the music, this one that's in the background right now is actually music that is in a game my brother and I are actually developing right now and trying to get out before oops, I gotta get this right. Get out before Easter. So we're hoping to get that done. We're working with a couple people to do playtesting and stuff. Yeah, there you go. So that's bag 9. Alright. There's a lot of weight there. As you can see, the legs themselves are kind of pushing down on it already. So, alright. Bag 10. I gotta get up for that one because I put it in the wrong spot, not realizing that it was going to be for this. Looks like bag 10 is going to be the head, the wings, and the tail, just by the picture that's here. So we'll finish that up, and then I guess bag 11, that's an extra piece. Well, we've already surpassed an hour, but that's no surprise. bag 11 is going to be the rear legs and all the rest of the odds and ends. Oh, lots of little pieces. That's for the head, I betcha. Alright, away we go. Looks like we're doing the tail first. Some of the pieces got stuck together. Anyway, we are working on a video game to release to Android and Apple. And that's, again, coming out for Easter, we hope. We are playtesting and have a couple people actually testing for us and giving us feedback and such. It's something we've been doing, for the last several years now. Alright, there goes that. And last part of the tail. His tail now is a lot bigger than the other lion tails. It looks like it goes right on. Ah, that's that little bloop. That's what I said earlier. There's a little bloop we did back here, and that's so the tail can go here. Alright. Alright, moving on. So now it looks like we're going to start doing the wings portion. The tail, there wasn't that much to do. That's there's not much to a tail, I guess you could say. Alright, now I'm looking for a specific piece I need that I cannot find right now. It's because it's on the other side, of course. Yeah, Lego, I've thought in the past at times that I was missing a piece, but I never was, so looks like that's stuck. There we go. That is kind of the hard thing about not doing something yourself, is, well, just that simple fact. You never know when you're going to run into a video that's not there anymore. Okay, this. So there's those little grabby pieces in there. That's where these go. That is neat. So it's still spinnable, but not very loose. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. It is so amazing how these things go together. So yeah, back to thinking I've lost pieces or had pieces missing. They used to do a thing with some of the older sets, the older space sets especially. They would, looks like we lost some frames there. A little bit of jaggedness. Sorry about that. One of the things that they would do in with Legos is they would have with some of the space sets. My older brother had one of the bigger ones back in the day, and it was a set that separated into 3 pieces. So in a way a little bit similar to this, but not in, not by far in the same realm, obviously. But it was a spaceship that we got our next sticker to put on. We're gonna put on the number 1 because the black line is number 1. So get my stickers. So far I've done 2 of 2 very well, so we're going to see if this will be 3 of 3. This one's on a curved piece. No, I don't like how that went on. Try it again. There we go. That actually worked pretty well. So there we go. All right. There we go. Number 1. And I don't think in the new series that they're numbered like this. I mean, this was the original Voltron. That's how they were numbered. But the new series, it's just they are their colored respective colors. They don't have numbers anymore. Oh, looks like my little kitty Pixie has decided to come in the room. I heard her little bell go off. What was I talking about? Anyway, the bigger sets that kind of combined together, but not not in this same way. What they would do is they would have pieces that would say that had arrows on them, but both arrows went the same direction. So when you put it on one side, it would face one direction. When you put it on the opposite side, it would face the opposite direction. And that was by design on their part. Well, when I was little, I thought because of the way the set went, it was all combined together as one giant set. But I thought the way it worked is they should both be going the same way. So I always thought I had bad pieces. I thought I had one piece that was incorrect, which was not true. The reason for that, I figured out later as I got older, is that, well, you have, it going one direction because it has to go out. But then you have it go the opposite direction because, well, it needs to go back in. So you need an arrow for each way. All right, so interesting pieces going together here. Not sure what part this is yet, but I'm going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. Ooh, this might be the head. I'm betting this is the head. That's what it's looking like anyway, looking at ahead. Looking ahead to the next little part. Yeah, starting to come together. And I got two little grabbies here, little hook things. Alright. So we'll see what goes on here. So yeah. We got some interesting pieces in this particular bag. I see more kind of brass colored pieces that actually kind of shiny, like those silver ones. Alright. More headlights. Upside down. And now that part's interesting. So we've got 3 little arms. These are usually used for like wrenches or whatever. But they all go in there. 1 for each headlight. I would suggest for your headlights not putting wrenches in. Simply because, well, then they wouldn't work as headlights. They'd be wrench lights. Alright. There we go. Got those in there. Those were not easy to get in. Alright, so now we've got this little piece here. I'm putting one of these on each side. I don't know how far, this is always an interesting thing, is whenever you do a piece that's going to go into wrenches or into little grabby things, I like to make it, whoops, don't like to lose it. I like to make it even so that I'm sure that it's going to fit in where it's supposed to. But you never know when you're first putting it together, like how much space you have, so. Alright, so that part's done, and this just keeps looking whacked. But I think that's his nose. does look kind of funny. This is going to be the top part above his head, or above his eyes. It's blue. That much I do know. That thing you're seeing on that's Hagar. She's the quote-unquote witch. Obviously a bad guy. Or bad girl, I guess you could say, bad woman. And that's a robeast. Those were like always the big villain or bad thing that was in... Oh, look at that. This is funny. It's this is what I was talking about way at the beginning. It actually is painted on there. It's not a sticker you put on. I much prefer that than putting stickers on. Just a preference. But, you know, what are you going to do? Alright, so this goes in here. So the head is done. The face, it's upside down, of course, but that's how it goes in here. So I'm going to wiggle this around so it's in the middle properly, and there we go. Alright, so that goes there, and then we leave it alone for a little while. We're going to go on to the rest of the jaw and everything, because if you've paid attention to the YouTube stuff, it's actually in the head, the jaw, so to speak, of the black lion, which is an interesting thing. Yeah, see the animation of those lions, how different they look. Even their animation style of the lions themselves is kind of... See, a close-up is good. A close-up, it gives you your detail and stuff. And even that, where they're stationary, you're going to have a better look to them. But then when they're actually moving, it's not going to be as good in any way. Simply because... Again, animation's cheaper whenever you have less detail. Understandable. Oh, little silver piece again. And now we're doing... that's for the nose, because we're starting to do the teeth of the lion. And I got these little 1x1 flat flats. Remember I was talking about how you describe, well, a little 1x1 that is fully flat and is also a thin piece is a flat. That's how we would describe it. Alright, so there we go. Upper jaw. That's Princess Allura. She ends up piloting, at least in the new series. I can't remember if she did in the old series. Those are her mice friends. But in the old series, or in the new series, she ends up piloting the blue line. Oh, there's that piece it was hiding. But in the old series, I'm not sure if she did or not. I need to actually find that out. The new series is a little bit of a retelling. It is similar in a lot of ways, but it's also a retelling of the original that you're seeing. Oh, there's the symbol, so I'm glad I picked that one, that particular symbol. Just funny that they gave me all the other ones. Alright, so there we go. You can tell it's bigger. It's a bigger head than these two. I mean, like, as far as like that part goes, the eyes are bigger and everything. But again, it has to be bigger because it houses the head, the main robot head and stuff. So there's another coming together of Voltron, showing all the different parts, and each lion does its little roar. Yeah, and you can tell, even if you look at the left leg closely, you can see these little wing things that are on there. It's a little bit different than the others in that respect. and they fought all kinds of enemies and stuff. There wasn't too much of a rhyme or reason. They just kind of had random battles for the most part. But again, Hagar and the leader of the now I can't think of the name of him. I had it in my head. I knew I was gonna forget, but I can't remember right off the top of my head the name of the the Galra. That's their name. The leader of the Galra. Now I can't remember his name, but oops, I almost lost that piece. Those were the main enemies, but they would fight. They would go to other places for other enemies and stuff like that, and just have random battles and stuff. I know the ocean's pretty, but that's not what we're here for, right? Right. Alright. Alright, so we're putting on some more sides and coverings, and now we're putting on the horns, like the actual horns, that are both the lions and Voltrons. There we go. These are these cool brass pieces. Yeah. So little brass pieces that go on there. So that makes his ears, and also ends up being the horns for the transformed Voltron. So we did that. Did one on the other side. So whenever he's the lion, he will have his ears up so that it just looks like ears. Like that. Alright, so here we go. Whoa. Make sure I did that right. Gotta go back sometimes and just verify. Okay, so now we're starting to put everything together. Alright, so okay, so this is gonna go up here. Alright, this is interesting to put together. So we're looking at, aha, okay, so this goes there. And it only wants to go so far. Okay, so we got that. So we have to put this little piece here, up here, so that it doesn't go too far back. Ah, okay, good. And that's not on there all the way. Didn't think it snapped quite right. There we go. Alright, so we got that. So there's the head. So the head will, while he's not doing anything, will go up in there. So then it's kind of closed in. Whoops, got the thing. So it's closed in. And we'll have the rest of it fit together. So this actually ends up being the bottom jaw, kind of, until it becomes the robot. So kind of interesting, but hey, that's the way they decided to do it. Or there might be a bottom jaw, I don't know, but he goes on here. So, and his head moves around, so it's able to rotate and everything. So there we go. All right, now on to the wings. So we did the top part of the wings, and now we're doing the actual wings themselves. This should be fun. This should go pretty quick, actually, because it's a lot of bigger pieces and a couple small ones, but still mostly bigger. We are at 1 hour 23 minutes. I can't believe I've been streaming this long. I apologize if it's boring. I've been enjoying it, and it's been fun to build. I've been waiting to build this guy. Some of the other builds that I have, which we'll get to have people vote for in the near future, I've been wanting to do even longer. One of those is the Y-Wing from a year ago, almost a full year ago. Maybe I'll do that as a special for May the 4th be with you. Simply because that would be fun. Alright, so but anyway, it's the Y-Wing that came out. Might be 2 years ago, but I'm pretty sure it's just been a year. I would never go a full, 2 years without building a Lego set. That would just be silly. Alright, that part of the wing is done. But I got it, and when I got it, it was my intention that I build Legos live or do videos of them, because I think they're a lot of fun, and obviously not everybody gets to build the same Legos or gets to have some of these larger sets and stuff, so I figured it would be kind of a fun thing. So that being said, that's what I decided to do, and that's why I decided to start streaming and stuff. I find the streaming a little bit more fun than making just a video. So, alright, so I'm going to actually finish this wing up and then actually switch the... Nope, put them together. So I lied. I'm going to finish this wing up. Alright, now it's together. Flip it over. And put those two pieces on. And there we go. We got a wing. Alright, so this folds up once we get it on. There we go. There we go. So when he's in the lion mode, the wings are folded up. So I'm going to switch actually. Oops. Not quite high. There we go. That's what I wanted. So I'm going to stop that one, and we're going to switch. I'm going to show you the difference between the animation of the old one and the new one. This is the new one, obviously. You can tell there's an immediate difference in animation. In the quality of it. And again, this is the new series by DreamWorks. These videos are all theirs. It's in their playlist on YouTube. So that's Shiro. He starts off being the pilot of the Black Lion, and then that changes after some events happen. But yeah, the animation way better. I like the storyline a lot. I think they did a fantastic job of it, because they kept with the classic of the Galra and everything, and there are side adventures, so to speak. There is character growth and all that, but they change it too, as to who's doing what events actually transpire. There you go. There's some actual robotic animation, or computer animation, and I think it looks better. That's them trying to figure out how to actually form Voltron. So they are not very good at it at first, because they have to learn to work together and how to figure things out. But obviously, if you've never done something before, you try your best. So we got that, and I didn't put in all the little tiny pieces yet. That's all right. I didn't want to do that until I needed them. So all these little black joint things are going to have to go in. That's Hunk, the big guy. He's the one that pilots the yellow. There's Princess Allura. Looks way better than her previous self. Alright, so we got that together. Let's flip it over. Do these last two parts. And the wings. And this. Whoop. His legs are not the strongest, that's for sure. His wings are complete. There we go. Alright. So there we go. It's amazing too that, like, I mean, he obviously needs his other two legs to stay standing, but wow, a lot of spare pieces, but they're all little. But we're pressing on, and we're doing the last one. We can do this. We got this. We got this made. All right. Here we go. This is going to be the last two legs, and they're actually going to be bigger than, you know, these ones that I did here, and because these have to support the whole model when it's connected. The hind legs do have to support the whole model when it's standing up. So these are going to fit in here, and they'll also pull out and rotate whenever it's going to form the robot. So looks like we're going to do the left rear leg first. Green line, that's Pidge. As I said, and I think the first one, that Pidge is actually a girl, but in order to get into the academy and stuff, she pretends to be a guy, keeps her hair cut short and everything, and wears glasses all the time and things so people don't know. Looking for her father. Alright. That robot is actually a creation that the Galra did. Lothar is the son of the commander of the Galra, and now this is interesting because this is what I was talking about, it being a very floppy piece, but there's some smooth pieces here so that everything is going to be able to hold it where it needs to be so it stays nice and stiff. And these holes are going to go into the sides over here. But anyway, yeah, the son of the leader of the Galra did his own little experiments with making a giant robot, and that's what you're seeing right there. So see, now that piece is bracing. So now it stays out a little bit and it'll stay there, which you see in the model whenever it's on the box and everything. The hind legs do not stay like straight down. They are slightly angled so that everything fits right. Which, smart, makes sense. You do what you have to, but that's the way that they decided to make the legs work for this particular version of the model. Not sure how they did it in other versions, but that's what they did in this one. Alright, so I should have done the other piece first. There we go. So we got two of these going in there. So this is all these things here are to put everything together so they fit both the lions and fitting into the lions. I'm not sure how that's going to work yet, but we got more grabby pieces and claws and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see. Alright, first layer of that I guess is done because we're covering over it. Keeps it all together nice. It looks thicker, so I'm betting we're building a second layer pretty much exactly the same way. Again, more support for the model itself so that the legs stay out. Because even though, I mean, this stuff's together, it's still a little bit flexible. And yep, So we're putting on another little smooth piece there for support. Put another hinge. These hinge pieces are cool. We've had... did I miss one? I did. I did. Of course, I put this together very well, so I have to work to get this piece off. Come on. Now, if I was smart, I would have my tool with me. That is the Lego removal tool, but there we go. I could not remember where I put that. But this needs to go on first, then put this on. See, normally it's the smaller pieces that I miss, but not this time. All right. Pretty much the same things that we just put on in order to do another layer of the bracing, so to speak. No, those don't go on there. That would be silly of me. All right. Putting on some yellow pieces. I wonder if this leg is going to be the one for the yellow, because I see a couple pieces that are blue. I wonder if this one is just designating that this is the yellow leg. Just in case people get it confused. Which, you know, if you don't know Voltron, that could very well happen. So, that's a nice thing to have. All the pieces there. Putting on another green. It's odd that they're putting on, that they put green pieces. I don't know why they do that. Gotta double check something. Make sure I put, nope, I did not. Rushing too fast, trying to get done. That's supposed to go in there on this one as well. Okay. So, those pieces there, those there. Green and gray, and now snapping more. Alright, and then these two pieces, so we're closing up the leg now. Flip over. More smooth pieces, so that's going to be finishing up the leg. That's going over top there. Oop, that piece fell off. Make sure I did that right. Yep. Alright, so we have that there. And we're putting more, we're putting lots of smooth pieces on. So, we have to have this and this. So we're closing up the leg and making it so that everything looks nice and smooth in the way it's supposed to detail-wise. Anyway, what I was saying is, obviously, the animation is way better. The storylines for are similar to the old series, but told way better. And I don't remember, I mean, I haven't watched the old series in quite a while. Simply because, well, I just haven't had access to them, but I think they are available, at least from what this was saying, from what DreamWorks was saying. They are available on Netflix, potentially. But I've only seen the new one, so that might be wrong. But I do like the new one. It's a lot of fun. Alright, so we're almost done with this leg. it's going to be very interesting to see how this works going into or combining with the other lines to make Voltron be who he is. Very, very interesting indeed. Alright. More smooth pieces all over the place. That's one thing that I've found very surprising with this model. I have not had smooth pieces nearly this much. This is very different. Very different. Alright, so the Black Lion's feet are a little bit bigger than his predecessors, just a little bit, not much. This is interesting, how it goes together. It's got an extra joint, and that's probably to help aid in the... Whoops, make sure it's the right one. Probably to help aid in how the transformation works, because the black line is where everything goes in. So, alright, so... little black smooth piece there. And it goes on here. Oh, almost had it the wrong way. Oh, that's interesting. So it's supposed to go back, and then this goes forward. Like that. So, huh. Alright. And then up, we've got 3 of the 4 done. So this goes on here. There we go. So now he can stand, even though he needs his 4th leg. He can stand up. That's good. He'd look kind of funny just sitting on his butt. Alright, we're on the home stretch. It has been an hour and 40 minutes. This has been a very long build. I did not expect it to take this long, so I apologize. Hope you've enjoyed anyway. And I hope the, whoop, somehow I went way too far. There we go. Page is stuck. Alright, I'm going to move him out of the way just a little bit. Okay. I didn't get a chance to say it. I'm sure Oliver's in bed and Dan was putting him in bed, I'm sure, but his little boy loves to talk English. He's Canadian, so they're learning French Canadian up there too, I'm sure. But he loves to talk English, and whenever he does, and we're doing something online, he likes to come on, and he knows the key for the microphone, so he'll come on and go hello in his cute little voice. It's so great to hear him. Alright. Good. Alright, now I gotta flip this over so that I can put on the other pieces. Oh, this one's a little different. Oh, it's just different sides, sorry. Alright, so one thing that I've said this about the new series, but if you pay attention to what you're seeing, there's the Galra, that's a good representation of them. The way everything comes together with animation, and you can see the computer stuff kind of around the screen, but the way it all comes together is just so well done, just fantastic, and that's what I think makes the show that much more enjoyable, is just that fact that you can, it's not fully seamless, but I mean it's close enough that, like, yeah, you get to appreciate both parts independently, but also together, and it's not so off that you know, it gives you that whole sense of you know, you can, you know, you notice it so much that it distracts you from getting to enjoy the cartoon. So, or I don't even know. I guess it's anime. I'm not sure. I don't even know what you would call it. It's such a good combination of the two. All right. So again, now we're doing the other leg, and basically a repeat of what we just did in order to have a little bit more bracing. And this is starting to fold up because we're getting towards the end. These little tiny pieces do like to come off because there's not much holding them on, because they're not just a 1x1 flat. They are a 1x1 flat curve. So there's not much of the stud necessarily holding it up or holding it onto the rest. So kind of awkward a little bit. All right, so putting in more blocky pieces. Now I'm assuming that all these armatures and things that are on here that are on the bottom are going to be used to yep, see there's that blue piece that it probably signifies that's the blue leg that'll be going in. But these armatures and stuff, they very interesting how they all, whoops, I need that green piece on there first. A little green and another little gray. There we go. So we are almost done. We are flying. We are getting things finished. And then I will be able to let you guys go. Alright. Alright, flipping over so we can do this part. Essentially the exact same thing we did on the previous leg. And I gotta get that gray piece. Kind of a neat little, well, it's a radar dish really, but looks kind of cool. It sits on the leg, and again, it's another one of those brass pieces that's special. Kind of neat. Alright, so we need... Don't want to lose those. I may have done something wrong again. I don't see how though. Unless there's a piece stuck in a bag somewhere. I have all those flat pieces, but I don't see how I would have done that wrong though. But I'm missing... Seems like I'm missing a top piece here, and I do not see it anywhere. That would be really, really unusual, unless I did something goofy and put the wrong flat pieces on here. No, those were all the right ones. Sorry as I go back, because I don't want to do this incorrectly, obviously. 1, 2. Wait a minute. So when I put the piece on, those those two go on. Oh, I did that wrong. My bad. This doesn't need a, this doesn't need to be on anything, it just goes on. I thought it was a little thick. Silly me. So I was the one being thick. Oops. That means I did that leg wrong. Like I said, Lego does not make mistakes. They have yet to make mistakes. So let me fix this one while I'm thinking about it. Yeah. We are at 1 hour, 49 minutes. I am sorry for keeping you guys occupied, and I just knocked the tail off. So what happens when you have to go back? It makes everything fall apart, I'll tell you. There we go. Alright, back on track. Here we go. Down the home stretch. And it's good because I needed that other piece too that I just did, so yeah. Otherwise that would look weird and messed up, and well, I would be accusing Lego of something they have still yet not done, which is to forget pieces in a set. Alright. Almost done with this leg. Now we're doing the foot. The doubly articulated foot. Alrighty, we're coming down to the wire. We are almost done. Thank you for sticking with me through this. It's been a lot of fun. And this bag does not have any extra pieces except one little blue. So this goes on the leg here, like that, bends, interesting, in an interesting way, fits in, and there we go. We are done. So there we go. Thank you very much for sticking with me. Hope you enjoyed yourself as I did. If you did, do give a like, thumbs up, subscribe if you wish, and I hope to see you next time. Bye. Have a good